G'day Knuckleheads, Uncle Knackers here, and welcome to episode 14 of my Own a Builder series. In the last video, we looked at marking out the slab. In today's episode, we'll be marking the wall plates and also cutting the wall frame. And I also try my hand at some unorthodox butchery. Should be interesting. Check it out and you'll see what I mean. Well, things are getting a bit more serious with all the timber arriving for the frame. I'll tell you what, unloading with a crane is a lot better than doing it by hand. And I'm being ably assisted today by my second eldest son, Jacob, who has kindly offered his services. Well done, Jacob. And what we're doing today is cutting all of our stud work, our window trimmers, our headers, and our noggins for our frame. And I've got Jacob feeding me timber, which I just line up with my jig and then cut to whatever length I've decided, whether that be a stud length or a noggin or maybe even a window trimmer. Now the jig that I'm using, it's a very simple jig. It's just a couple of sticks of timber screwed to a block, which I then screw to my workbench. You just line your timber up with that jig and away you go. And that's just too easy. Beautiful. Look at that sawdust. Love it. And I recommend you doing this sort of work in the school holidays. Got to make the most of those kids. Hang on a sec. What's going on here? My old neighbour Max came over with a frozen chicken. And he said, "Shane, can you cut this in half for me?" I said, "Oh well, I've got a brand new blade. Why not?" There you go, Maxie boy. One chicken cut in half. Can you save me a drumstick? Good man. And at the end of play, this is a small sample of what we've finished up with. We have our 2-inch window and door studs. Over here we have our 90 by 35 or 4x1.5 common wall studs, and this is just a stack of everyday noggins. Nice throw. And the rest of the stuff is out of shot. It's been a pretty big day today, and Jacob's getting a little bit tired, judging by his timber stacking technique, which currently resembles a game of Jenga. So what's actually in that stuff?
It's impregnated with with the termicide, so it's impregnated with bifenthrin.
Right, and that actually kills.
Yeah, exactly right. So the termite comes up and actually try to chew through the plastic, and they obviously get the impregnated chemical that's impregnated.
Oh, and it kills them. Right, okay. So is that the same Termi-mesh, same sort of deal, or is that different?
So no, same sort of deal. Termi-mesh is like a pre-construction material. The Termi-mesh, the idea of is if termites come up the outside of the slab, they have to go around the Termi-mesh to actually get to
so you can see it.
So you can see it. That's the whole idea of Termi-mesh. It just prevents concealed entry. Whereas with this stuff, it's the same sort of scenario. They still have to come up the outside, but as soon as they chew through the plastic, it actually kills the termites.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, right.
So instead of them actually just going around and still coming in, and hopefully if you have your regular inspections, then
okay.
But,
right.
Yeah, no, it works well.
Okay, with all the framing timber now cut and the termite protection in place, it's time to mark out our wall plates. Now here I've got my bottom and top wall plate together, and they're flush on one end. Now this is a good tip. I like to nail my plates together. It makes them easier to mark, to transport, and you don't misplace them. Now I don't drive the nail all the way home, I keep it slightly proud so I can insert a hammer at a later date and easily pull those plates apart. And do the same for both ends. Once that's done and the plates are marked, just simply place them back on to the saw bench and cut to length. Beautiful. And as you can see from this shot, I've almost finished cutting and laying out all of my wall plates. It can be a pretty tedious job, especially when doing it by yourself, as you're continually checking either end that everything's in the right spot. Now it took me, for my place, a good half day to get it all marked out and cut. And as you can see, all the wall frames, they've been cut out and laid in place. It's looking good. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed and found that video useful. And as per usual, a big thumbs up is greatly appreciated. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out my Facebook page at DIYForKnuckleheads. Alrighty. I think it's time for a cup of tea. So till next time, I'm out of here. Cheers.